This video is going to be on LightKey, and this is a new software even for me. I'm not very familiar with it. I'm trying to learn about as much as possible, but the goal here is by using this software instead of the Luminaire app, we can control this software through ProPresenter. And as of right now, it's not working. You can see I have that antenna right there, and I can't figure out why. I've gone through several videos, so I've got to figure that out. But in the meantime, until I get that figured out and redo this video, I'm going to show you how to edit LightKey as is. So kind of what it is, you have your stage display. Actually, let me go out and let me open up LightKey so you can see that. And that's this icon right here. It's the little disco ball. You can see here we have some variety of projects. I'm going to open up LightKey project. You can see I kind of tried to create our stage up a little bit so that way you can see where the lights are and roughly where people might be standing and that sort of thing. These are just pre-made images that you can't really edit. So anyway, but these are our lights. These currently, these B1s, these three lights right here are grouped together, and they will control their lighting together. So you click on one of them, they're grouped together, they're going to change all three of them. If you do the same thing, so actually I can come over here to design, and let's turn the fader up, my apologies. So I'm going to turn the fader up. You can see I clicked on the first one. Even if I click on the second one, I can change all three. So they're grouped together that way, so that way you can control what's going on. And then you have your master dimmer over here. Now there's some more settings that we'll get into later, but these are going to be the basics to just create that wash of an effect. Okay. And then what I want to do is okay, I like that. Let's do orange. Let's say this orange matches my slide background, but there's another color in the orange in the slide background. Let's give it a green. This is a very common one. So I'm going to select on my B2s. It's going to be my secondary wash. And I'm going to click over here on my green wheel, and you can see how I have this little indicator where I can slide and change that if I want to. Click and hold. But that's how we're going to do that. Now, another thing we can change is the internal one. I can actually create it darker. So I have like a darker green if we want to, or I can get it all the way black, sorry. Or I can click on this guy and make it more white. So it's kind of the opposites there. So you have your general color wheel, and you can go darker, or you can go real like a lighter green if necessary. But let's say we have our green. So there's those. Now you notice this blue P1. This is called the MegaPar Profile Plus. It has its own settings. They're not separate because it's a completely different type of light. So it has its own settings. Same thing, we'll have the bar and not the dimmer bar, and then choose what color we want. Do we want it to be orange, the same as our B1s? Do we want it to be green? You can choose. Sometimes I like to add the third, and let's give it a little bit of yellow so there's a little contrast between there, depending on what color is in our background. And so this is kind of what we would do. Okay, now if I wanted to create one, just like I did, I just clicked on what I wanted to. I come here to design, and I created a light scene. Now if I wanted to make that permanent, what I would do is I need to come up here to the upper right hand corner, and I want to add a preset. It'll automatically label kind of what you've done. Okay, now if you want to change the label, you can at this point, but you don't have to. You can see I've already made a red cyan preset. Here's a welcome preset, songs preset, logo preset, and now the one that we just made here, green and red. So these are the presets, and this is how I want to save these light codes. Now, if I had the camera pointing towards the stage, you actually see every time I click on something, the lights will change. Because I'm at the church, everything's hooked up, and so the lights are changing, and I'm sure those are here wondering what in the world is going on. But that's kind of how the basics are. Now, what if I wanted to set up a variety of cues? So if I wanted to change songs, and that's where I would come over here to live. You can see I already have songs in a queue, and if I click on this switch, okay, nothing changed. The reason why is because presets are the top layer of LightKey. So the kind of same thing with ProPresenter, they have layers. And so what I need to do is I need to click off of the presets, and now you can see it automatically switched to this songs queue, which is a red and kind of a pinky color or magenta color. Okay, so make sure you remember that if you have a preset selected, it is going to trump whatever queue you have set. Now, if you want to edit a preset, you notice every time I come over here and say I want to click on the logo, I can actually edit that and actually allow me to edit everything at once. Now you can also group everything at one time and change all lights into the same color, which is what I did for logo. But what you do is you just click on all of them. But I don't want to edit this one, so I'm going to. But any of these you can edit if you so wish. Okay. As of right now, what I would do is I would just edit the song playlist or the preset and use it and try to make that these stage lights kind of match the stage background or the lyric background as much as possible. And if you have a little bit off colors, don't worry about it. Just try to create a cohesive scene. And once you have them turned on, don't change them for right now, because again, I don't have it set up with ProPresenter. They're not communicating correctly, and I've just got to do a deeper study into seeing why that's the case. So, but let's say I do want to make another program or another cue. So I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, so I'll come over here to live. Okay, get out here, and here's my cues. This is how I want to control my screen in a live situation. And how I want to add a cue, just simply I can do two things. I need to open the editor. All right, so I just want to edit the live cue. And what I could do is I want to say I want to do bring the logo as a cue. So I just literally grab that preset, drop it in. Boom, there it is. Now there's going to give you all sorts of settings here, and you don't need to change any of them. You literally can hit that X and you can drag it and line them up. You can have them touching if you want, but for now let's just leave them separated and hit done. So now I can hit logo, and now you can have the logo come up. Now you can see the logo is there, but you notice also the song's cue is not unlit. So if I just clicked it once to kind of turn it off, you can see whichever one I had clicked last is the dominant cue. So just keep in mind, if you do have multiple cues, you need to make sure that you turn them off. Now there's actually an easy way to fix this. Right? You go back into edit, and if you actually make them touch, turn the songs on, turn the logo on, it'll turn the other one off. It's a nice little feature that I discovered watching YouTube, but that's how I fixed, for me, how to switch those two lights. And so that's kind of the basics, and that's really what I want to kind of stick with. Again, I'll do a quick little preview. Again, go into design, and I want to click red and cyan. I'm going to click edit. Now, if I do anything to edit this right now, it's going to change everything. So I'm going to kind of show you. I'm going to click it. All of them are selected. So I need to click off, click somewhere in the middle of the stage, click off of them. I want to change just these. And let's now give it darker blue. Let's do my B2s. Let's give it a yellow. And, you know, let's give this guy, let's make him white. All right? That way I kind of have this polarity deal. And what I'm going to do is, now that I have it set, I can click either update at the very top or update next to the preset. I'm done. That's how I save it. Right? You notice it even changed the name for us automatically. And again, I can easily change the name. Just go into edit. Gotta remember where to change. Oh, there it is. Double click finally, and I can say blue/yellow, or I could say song number 1, song number 2, or exit or something like that. But that's just kind of simply how you change it. And then when I'm done with that, I want to go back into my live, and I want to add my blue-yellow to my live cues, and boom, it's there. It's already saved it for me. You notice I didn't hit edit. I just drag and dropped. So this program's really intuitive. I did have to hit done before I left that, so I can actually turn these off now. So now it's part of my sequence, and so now I can turn these off and on. So that is as far as I want to go with this until I get everything up and running. Again, guys, thank you so much for being a whole live.